Hello, this is Sophie from Happy, Well and Fed. Welcome back. I wanted to talk today about patterns, and specifically patterns in our lives. So I know that when I stop to look at things in my life that are either going really well or more so the things that aren't going so well, there are some recurring themes that come up, and that's what I wanted to bring your attention to today. So we might find that we're living our lives, and as we go about, something is always seeming to stop us or get in the way. And something I think this calls for is having a look at, why is this thing coming up? Perhaps every time you are reaching your goals and, going for your dreams, this same lesson or this same thing keeps coming up for you. I know for me, I was living for a long time in the idea, and I kept finding people who would reinforce that I believed that I wasn't good enough, and I believed that I didn't deserve to be treated well. And although my family and my friends had always been so loving and so supportive, somewhere in there I developed this idea about myself, and then every relationship I would form, I would somehow play out this story. And I realised that I kept playing out this role of not letting myself, be all that I was and be who I was, and really allowing myself to express that, because I was constantly trying to please the other person. I was constantly in the, yeah, sure, if you want to do that, I want to do that too. And if that's what makes you happy, then yeah, that will make me happy, even if it really wouldn't. I just so wanted to be loved, and I so wanted to be liked by that other person that I would always give of myself in the wrong ways. So I would give so much that I had nothing left for me, and I would give up so much of what mattered to me deep down that I would always be, no, we don't have to do my thing, we can do your thing. Or, these kind of things. And I kept finding that when I couldn't say no, and when I couldn't really connect with who I was and what I wanted, even if that was separate from the other person, then that meant that I was just constantly disconnected from myself. So it took me quite a while to work this out. And one day I sat down and realised that I was subconsciously repeating the same pattern in similar ways across different relationships, until I finally got it that, I was living out this story in which I didn't deserve to be treated well, and I needed to change who I was to be loved. And when I realised that, I started to look at myself and realised there was a lot of work I needed to do to start to know and like and love and accept who I really am. And this work is always ongoing. I'm not there, but I'm a heck of a lot more along the path than I was when I started. So when you find yourself repeating out these patterns in some way in your life, it might not be in your intimate relationships, it might be your relationship with your parents, or it might be in the jobs that you go for, or the opportunities that you choose to take, or the experiences that you have. I think we keep being sent people who will help us to learn the lessons we need to learn along the way until we learn them. So I ask you today to ask yourself, what lesson is there in this hardship? What is it that I'm not seeing? Or what is it that I'm not acknowledging? Or what is it that I need to learn or develop in? Or what challenge do I need to take on, and what growth do I need to let happen, and what do I need to nurture so that I can move to the next stage? We will continue to get the same things coming back in all manner of different ways until we learn whatever it is we need to learn. So that's my challenge to you. Just like I did, sit down with yourself and start to look at what story you are reinforcing when you have these things happen to you, or what they might tell you about what you believe about yourself. because when you start to do that work and realise that you can control the way you react and the actions that you take, and that suddenly then that changes the way that people interact with you. So there's so much power in that, and that's really what I wanted to say to you. So that's all. Here's to you being happy, well and fed. Delicious, healthy, inspiring whole foods. Love from Sophie. I know you can do it. Bye.